Before I get this video started, I wanted to kind of explain what I was doing here. This is the engine I put together for the S10 Blazer. I'm about to work with the transmission, and I think I covered my ideas for the transmission, but I just wanted to go over it again so it would be a little easier to get on board with if you haven't seen the other videos. But I was originally going to do a 2-speed power glide behind this, and a few things happened to lead me away from that. A couple of the components that would make like the gear ratios, the planetary gears and stuff, they're kind of expensive to upgrade, and there's a lot of things you'd have to change, small things you'd have to change that would require like a lot of money up front to get them like race worthy, so I wouldn't have problems with them. There's a few items. I'm going to show you what I'm putting together for Turbo 400. The reason I chose the Turbo 400 is like the gear ratios are better right from the box, right out of the box from factory. I don't have to change any gear ratios right away. This engine with like, I don't have any experience drag racing like on an actual track, so I'm putting this together and I'm just using like a little 150 shot, like a wet kit. It's the plate that goes on the throttle body is what I'm going to use just on and off. My first year with this is just going to be a shakedown. Me getting used to the vehicle, me getting used to how to handle it, just getting acclimated to racing, period. Passing tech, getting all the safety stuff in place. There's a lot of things. It'll probably take me a year or so until I start looking for more power. So I'm not too concerned about building something to take, over 500 horsepower right off the bat, but I want to invest my money in something to when I do want to start doing those upgrades, it's ready to take it, versus instead of just doing one little thing, I have to like right away get a reed case or something like that. So for the transmission, this is just a stock engine. The only thing this engine has done to it is gapped rings and sloppy stage 3 cam and some valve springs. It's all this has done to it. There's nothing else done to this engine. So this isn't going to be making a whole bunch of power. But, as far as the transmission behind it, there's a few things. Like this is a stall converter from Jegs. Now, it did say it was not recommended to be used with nitrous, but I don't think I'm going to be up in that power level to where it's going to matter. So, I don't know. I'm going to find out. This is a very inexpensive torque converter to begin with. They're $300, so if I blow it up, we'll find out together, The next item that I had to purchase, no matter what transmission I decided to use, was the valve body. I decided to go with, so this is a reverse shift valve body. You see they're very, very simple. It's reverse shift, so it's park, reverse, neutral, 3, 2, 1. So you start all the way at the back, you're in first gear, bump it up 1, go to second gear, up again, your final drive, and then neutral. This benefits from a special like gated shifter that you can get to accommodate this. There's a couple of reasons why I would want that. This is equipped with a trans brake. This is the solenoid for it. This binds, you have to have it in first gear. It binds reverse and first together. If you know what a trans brake is, I'm just talking, but for those of you who don't know, this is what holds me at the starting line. The reason I'm buying this stuff is, I'm getting a little older. My reflexes aren't as good as they used to be when I was a kid. I have some issues to where my feet are kind of, I don't want to say I'm losing sensation in them, but I don't have the reflexes to make my feet do what I want them to do as quick as I used to, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So this will give me the ability to have like hand controls, whether it's on the shifter. The shifter I've been looking at has a button on it, and it also has safety switches to where when you come out of first gear, it releases a switch. So if I accidentally hit the trans brake button, it won't engage that. It's a safety thing. If I just use some random shifter, I'd have to make something up and make it work like that, where the one I've been looking, there's a couple of them for the Turbo 400 with the reverse valve body, but I'm going to wind up with something like that. But that's this is one of those investments where no matter what transmission you're going to use, this is the same $500 no matter what. It's one of those things you better be sure once you spend that money, you got it. You know what I mean? It's not, this isn't an experimental thing. I'm going to stick with the Turbo 400 for as long as I can. What you're about to see is I'm putting a little reducer in for the converter feed. So a problem with these engines is it pushes the torque converter forward, shoving the crankshaft to the front of the engine, and they were known to wipe out the thrust bearings in the crankshaft. So that little modification you'll see me doing to the pump reduces that pressure, so it's easier on the thrust bearing. These engines supposedly have really weak thrust bearings, so you want to try to save that as much as you can. This here, this little dump valve here, when you know, I'm on the line and I'm on the trans brake and I got a rev limiter, I'll show that in a minute. This relieves as much pressure as it can get to the torque converter, so the torque converter is not sitting there charged up ready to go, just pushing on that crankshaft. And you know, I'm reading up on that right now as to when, like when you let go of the button, everybody's saying give this like a couple milliseconds to engage, to get that line pressure, to get the converter feed pressure back online before the brake actually releases and you're ready to go. Otherwise, there's like a little bit of lag time, a little bit of hang time from the time you let go of the trans brake button to the time the thing's moving. So I don't know, that's all stuff I got to play with. There's a lot of information out there about racing, and I don't know what's good for me at this point, you know, but I got this. This is one of the things I'm going to play with, and like I said, I got the trans brake, I got the converter. All I have to really do is put the transmission together. I do need an oil pan for this yet, and all the peripheral stuff. I do not have I have an intake manifold, but I don't have like injectors. Right now I'm just going to use HP tuners. I consulted a friend who's been racing for a while. He's trying to talk me into like a Holley Sniper or Terminator setup, which I'm not opposed to, but it's the initial investment. Again, the Sniper, you'd have to get the manifold to run, you know, that carburetor style. I'm probably going to wind up with turbos on this thing, which you can turbocharge those. The Terminator, I think I can use the factory manifold. I might wind up just taking the manifold off my red truck and throwing it on this. Maybe. The red truck, I'm only going to be running like 7 pounds on that. That's not going to be, you know, a bunch of boost in that thing. That's literally just to pull the race trailer for this. That's the only reason I'm putting that thing together. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to experiment with things. That's what this whole, like, first, once it's probably going to be till later on this fall till this thing's even ready to go. So I've picked up this Lingenfilter LNC 2000. This is your launch control and timing retarder. The launch control, it literally does the same thing that MSD two-step box does that I put on the red truck. Still need a way to retard the timing for the nitrous. So I'm thinking just running the HP tuners, factory manifold, and I got my timing retarder to pull some ignition out when I hit that nitrous button, turn that on, and you know, again, this is all going to be tuning. It's going to be me experimenting with this to see what happens. So this is another part I got, which, like I said, the only major components I'm really missing are the gated shifter and a few small pieces. I need like suspension components yet, just because it's wore out on the truck. So all I really need to do is get the truck in and start working on it. So let me cut to the chase here. I got all the things that I showed you, what I'm going to be doing with this transmission I'm about to put together, and why I chose it. That was mainly the reason why I wanted to do this video, so you could understand why I decided to go with this transmission instead of the 2-speed. So let's dive into that video where I'm messing with the pump on that one. So I've been working on getting some stuff together for this Turbo 400 I'm putting together for the Blazer. I bought the book, same as I did for the Power Glide. Get these off of Amazon. Little tips and tricks, you know. I'm reading in here the converter feed hole that's in the pump, which would be this one, I think. No. That one. Okay. They're putting a brass set screw in here and drilling it to 150 thousandths, 160 thousandths. I just got done looking up where I can get a brass set screw. They are available. They're kind of pricey for what they are. For 8 of them, they're like $10. I was hoping for a set like this that I got off of Amazon. Of course, these are from China. They're calling for a 5/16 by 18 thread count. Yeah, by 18. These are, it doesn't actually say what thread count they are, but I was thinking this is a 5/16 here. I want to take it out to the drill press and see if I can even drill through this. If I can, I'm just going to use these. If I'm having a hard time, and because it's a very small drill bit, it might get dull right away. So I'm going to go out there, try to drill through one of these, see what it's like. If it's horrible, I'm just going to buy the brass set screws. If it's not bad, we'll try it out and we'll continue on with this. But that's the first thing I'm going to do. I had took the old pump gears out, and you have to measure the thickness of the pump gears, and this is the set of gears that's going to go in there. So I got everything I need to put the pump together. So that's where I'm going to start. So let's go out to the drill press and see if I can drill a hole in this thing. So first thing we need to do is bring up the closest thing we can to 150 on here. Slow it down. Good enough. Alright, now I gotta find a drill bit that size. Probably the one that's missing. No, okay. Almost. Let's try this 9/64. See what a 9/64 is. It's close enough. I don't know. Too small. Let's go to the next one up. I like that. We're going to go with this one, which is 5/32. So let's take this out to the drill press and see if I can dull it. So I've just got some paint sticks here. Gonna see if I can even remotely get this in here straight. Okay. Let's give it some help with the drop of oil. Figures my oil can's missing. Found it. It was on the ground. Let's put some oil inside this thing. There we go. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's hot. Okay, it made it a good ways. It's almost through. You can see light through the back of that. So it flipped out of this like you saw right there. Let me reset this up here. You know what it did? It like burned itself in there. That's why it flipped out. Man. that's it. Whoops. Okay. So it is possible to do that. It said by 18 thread pitch. I don't know what thread pitch this is, and honestly I don't think the thread pitch matters that much. It was just what they happened to use in that book. So let's figure out what thread pitch this is. Alrighty, so we got the little set screw drilled to 150 thousandths. And I checked the threads. It is 5/16 by 18. Here's my tap. So we're going to get in here, see how far we can go. They said to only really do it a few threads. But I'm going to go till she stops. She's pretty much in all the way. I'm imagining that just goes in and hits the whatever's behind here. I guess the stator. I don't think I'm deep enough to actually touch anything in there. Let's see, this is our bushing. Yeah, there's nothing back there. Alrighty, so let me take her out. And I want to say I did the same thing on the Power Glide pump. And if I remember correctly, the size of that hole, because you don't drill it, you don't pre-drill it, but there's like barely enough threads left. Actually looks good. Let me, I'm going to go get some brake clean and clean this quick. There you go. Hopefully you can see those threads in there. Just cleaned it out real good with some brake clean. Now, next step is just to Loctite that thing in there. There we go. There's our Allen wrench. I'm gonna go clean all the oil off of this quick. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. She's clean, residue free. I'm going to put a drop at the leading edge here. And I didn't test fit this, so hopefully it'll go in all the way. And that's it, it's kind of loose. That's the reason for using the Loctite to begin with. Pretty much all you're shooting for here. You want it deep enough so it doesn't interfere with, you know, any of that. So that's it. I'm going to let that sit up. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to take the rest of this apart, take the regulator valve out here, clean her up real good, and then I'm going to put some new bushings in. I'm kind of debating putting the new stator in. This looks like an old style. Somewhat rough around the edge here. I think I might put it in the converter and see how it feels. Again, I'm not going to be putting a bunch of power to this, so I don't know how much that matters. Yeah, something's happened here to this. But anyway, good enough for what I'm doing. So we're going to let that dry, and we'll finish putting this together. Alrighty, I'm going to wrap it up for today. I had a rather stressful day today. I had to do my taxes, and that's not fun. But tomorrow I'm going to get this all cleaned up. I'm going to push 2 new stator bushings in. There's one here and one on the back side, which is going to be fun to get out. This part of the pump gets this torque converter bushing, and then the seal. It's going to get a new seal. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to put some new gears in there and align it with our handy alignment band, and pump will be ready. And hopefully this will go easy. This will be something. Tomorrow's Monday. Hopefully tomorrow will go easy with work, and I can sit down and enjoy myself afterwards to get this together, and I can bring the camera with me. So that's it for today. I'm going to look. I don't think there's anything else that can be modified. I took the regulator valve out. There is something I have to do to that. I haven't read up on it yet. It's like a shim I got to move. I'm not using a shift kit, so there's something I got to move around to use the factory spring to bump the line pressure up a little bit. And then I don't think anything had to get modified on this. What was I looking at? Oh, this little dude here. This is, if I'm not mistaken, that one there. It looks like it's 1/4 inch already. The older stuff you had to drill out bigger, but I don't think this stuff's that bad about that. You just leave it the way it is. Other than the converter charge pressure, we restricted that a little bit. So that's it for tonight with this. I'm going to wrap this up, get this video up for you guys to watch, and we'll come back when I'm doing something else.